morning, Vietnam. Woo. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? We are live. I'm just going to go click live into our Instagram here. Hi, Juliet. How are you doing? Welcome back.
I am good. I am still a little bit sick, but I'm good. No bird flu here.
I'm stoked. For you. There's no bird flu.
No bird flu. We're good.
Oh gosh, we don't need bird flu. I tell you what, we've got bird flu quite enough in the South Island at the moment, apparently.
Wow.
I just believe it.
No.
Sorry. 1 second, guys. Juliet, tell us about your day while I piss around with Instagram.
My day. I don't know. I'm very tired. No. What have we been up to? Nothing. I've basically just been recovering from my trip where it's taken a little while. I'm pretty much sure like 20 years ago, I probably would have bounced back a little bit better, but you know, kind of looking back at kind of what we did and how much stuff we saw and the hours of sleep we got, I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit wrecked right now.
Yeah.
Like we were averaging on maybe 3 or 4 hours sleep a night some nights. But no, it was, you know, there's still just, yeah, it's still like so much stuff going on and I haven't unpacked certain things and
I bet.
Yeah. Just trying to catch
Takes you a long time to unpack after holidays and trips and stuff, right? Like a lot of the time I just leave stuff in the bag and then I'm like, oops.
Yeah, I was like, because I did most of it washing there, but I just basically just put everything through the wash. And now it's just sitting in a basket. Then it goes onto my bed and I plan to fold it. Then it just goes back in the basket, you know. That really exciting stuff that we do. So that's my life right now is putting my clothes in the basket, putting it back on the bed.
100%. Yeah, it just keeps getting transferred from one place to another, right?
Yeah. So no, so that's me just coming and getting back into the work and just still trying to recover a little bit. So
and we're both
my head around what I saw.
Yeah, and we've both been sick, right? Like you came home really sick from the airplane and that sort of stuff. And I've been pushing sickness away for the last 3 weeks. So I think there's a lot of, I don't know what it's like in the Northern Hemisphere, but Southern Hemisphere, there's a hell of a lot of sick people floating about.
Yeah.
Which is not fun.
And there was an actual kind of news thing that went here that's saying that people coming back into Melbourne were really, really like, so coming from all over the world, basically.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Just bringing all the sickness back. Nice.
I did try to avoid everybody, but I had to go to work.
Oh, no, that's not fun. Gross.
Yeah, I
know. Mike's over here on YouTube with us.
Hey, Mike.
What's going on? We're just waiting for some people to pick up on Instagram. So we're over there on Instagram as well. So if you want to join us on Insta, you can. If you want to join us on YouTube, you can. We're everywhere. We've got some new stuff going on, which we're super excited about. And one of the things that we're going to run through our live today is tell us the best cryptid joke that you've got. We want to hear the best cryptid joke, right? Based around any sort of cryptid you want. It could be a Christmas cryptid, could even be a paranormal kind of borderline cryptid.
And even if you're not watching this as a live, DM us with your favorite jokes. Man, we've heard some funny ones.
Oh my gosh. Yesterday, Julia and I were coming up with ideas and we're just like crying. It was so bad. It was great. So send it on through and let us know what your funniest joke is or your or a quote or anything like that. It'd be super good. That's going to be one of our upcoming new segments. Funny time with Lisa and Juliet. We don't know what we're going to name it. Yeah, we don't know what we're going to name it either. So if you've got a name for us, a wee cracker of a name, send that through as well. What should we call that segment? Welcome to our new members. We have got new Cryptid Women's Society members. Welcome. I'm not sure if the girls are here today, but if you're jumping on, thank you for joining us. The more members that we get, the more we can do this, the more content we can produce, and the better the society and the community grows for the whole industry. So please share. What a great gift. What a great Christmas gift, Juliet.
It is the best Christmas gift. Any woman would be super happy.
100%.
Daughters, like over 18. But we do have kids stuff coming. That is one thing that is popping up next year. We're going to have like a kids club coming. So, for all those parents out there, mums and dads who, really want their kids to be involved with cryptids and learning about that stuff, that's basically another section that we're working on, which has kind of been like in the pipeline. I've been wanting to do it. Yeah, we've been wanting to do it for a while. And because we know we want our kids to learn about them, but kind of at a level where it's good for them to learn it. So.
Yeah, and safe, right? Safe and protected. Super interesting, right? Yeah, and like the more that we grow, the more likely this community will stick around for a long time. That's what we want to do. We don't want to be like, oopsies, we've got to close it down, because we know that that's what happens in this space, right? It's hard to keep something going, and anyone that is podcasting or YouTubing or running some form of organization or business, like, we give you props big time, because it is tough. It is tough, but we love all your support, because all of our members and our followers and people that share our content and our posts and stuff, you're the best. You're the ones that make it happen and keep us going. And we love you all. So thanks.
And what a great community. This is us putting out the Christmas spirit here. Like, what a great community. Just everybody in this community has just been so much fun, just so informative, just willing to share. And we're super grateful for that. And it's just
we've got a comment over on Instagram from IronBear89 saying, "Is this girls only?" Laugh out loud. Wow.
Well, the live isn't, but there's certain parts that
are. Yeah. You cannot be a member unless you are a girl. But we have lots of Men's Day Wednesdays coming up, so times where we can showcase guys' work. We have a heap of dudes that support us and look after us, and we love it. Just come and support us, support the women in your life to get involved and do more. And
well, especially it's expensive. You just been a dirty.
It's not girls only, okay? But it is girls only. But it's not girls only.
It's not OnlyFans, mate. Come on. Yeah, we know where that was going.
My brain went straight to the gutter, and I'd like to thank IronBear89 for that. Cheers, man.
That's us in general. I know. I had to hold my humor back a few times when we were going around Egypt and the people would say something, and I'm like, oh no, okay, we can't. Compose yourself and do not say, those intrusive thoughts will come out. I'm like, no, that's not good.
Yeah. Oh, you get yourself in big trouble. Real quick, Jules, IronBear89 says, what kind of work do y'all do? So what is Cryptid Women's Society about? What do we kind of delve into?
Oh, everything. Okay, so everything from cryptids to mythological creatures to paranormal, ancient ruins, UFOs, anything that's on the spectrum of like supernatural, kind of out there stuff. For anyone that's got an interest in it, yes, we are aimed at women, but that's because we're giving women a platform to talk about their experiences and to learn from a woman's point of view. But the rest of it, we like Lisa was saying, we have got some amazing guy friends that have just come through, and we just have so much fun with them. So it's really kind of encompasses everyone, but it's just the platform is just for women. So
Yeah, and look, you know, Juliet's in Australia, I'm based in New Zealand, and so our focus point is the South Pacific, the Oceanic region. So you're talking Rapa Nui, Easter Island, all the way up to kind of Indonesia, and we touch into like China and Japan as well, and then come back down through Australia and New Zealand, then out as far as Hawaii and through the South Pacific Islands. And there's so many cool things. We have Bigfoot down here, we have Yowies, we have sea monsters. We have UFO sightings all the time, and a whole heap of really, really well-known UFO abductions and encounters. We have ancient ruins, Nan Madal. We have, oh God, like just so many cool things.
Yeah, which like people in the Northern Hemisphere aren't aware of. You know, they aren't. They may, you know, most of them probably may know about the Yowie, who are kind of within the industry, or the Bunyip, but there are so many more creatures, and we also like to bring in the indigenous mythology and basically their views on what they think these creatures are and stuff like that. So each island, whether we're in New Zealand, we've got the Maori, or over here we've got Aboriginal people. So yeah, we like to bring in that folklore and the native side of it. Because you know that is where it comes from. That is the kind of the guts of the thing of what we say. You know, they're a very big influence with it.
Yeah, well, that's where the origins start from, right? Why wouldn't you go right back to the origin instead of like starting from kind of halfway or 3/4 of the way down the track? Great question. Thank you so much for asking. It gives us an opportunity to talk about it.
We'll send you a t-shirt.
Yeah. We'll send you a t-shirt. I see. It sounds like a really good thing. I've always heard you guys have dinosaurs over there still. Yeah, man.
Yeah, living dinosaurs. Yeah, we have dinosaurs like in the outback here, which some are saying that they could be kind of related to the monitor lizard. So, I mean, these things are like 20 foot long. We have the ropin in Papua New Guinea. So those are kind of like your little pterodactyl type looking things. You know, and there have been sightings of those, like kind of, where would you say the latest sighting was been? Probably a couple of years ago for the maybe earlier.
Go for the pterodactyls, for the ropin and the dua over there as well. They're two different kind of subspecies of the pterodactyl. If you know that sort of flying cryptid. But there's also, you know, the thylacine in Australia, which is the Tasmanian tiger, and up through Papua New Guinea as well. And then you've got, you know, sea monsters and, you know, these Mosasaurus and Plesiosaurus and that sort of stuff still floating around that we're still finding fossils of now, but we're also getting a whole heap of sightings and encounters. So, yeah, so interesting. It's really, really cool. And next year we're about to do some planning for what we're going to talk about next year and our topics, and it will include all of these exciting things. So if you want us to talk about anything,
and if you're interested in the dinosaur, we have done go back. Oh, may not be. Is it on YouTube yet? But if not, we will be putting them up. We have done episodes on the living dinosaurs, like in the South Pacific. So
either on Instagram or YouTube, you can just go back through our reels. Living dinosaurs is what you're looking for. Yeah, man. Cool. And Tactical Bigfoot Research says it's always an educational experience to watch. Thank you. We love your work. 100%. Okay, so there's so many comments coming through. We love you guys. Thank you so much. But let's get into our Christmas, dark Christmas cryptids and monsters. It is Christmas time. And Juliet, I've got a story for you. Okay, so you all know if you run your own business, you miss out on being invited to Christmas parties, right? And it sucks. It's the one thing that I hate about running my own company, because like I've got like clients that are like, oh my God, I've got to go like 4 Christmas parties, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there going,
hi, loser.
Yeah, so lucky you. When was the last time you got invited to a Christmas party?
Last year, bitch. See, we're so polite to each other on here.
I can hope that.
We'll have a virtual Christmas party, everyone. So we're planning that. So
literally. Anyway, so I'm sitting there just, you know, I hope that's educational enough for you. I'm sorry, it's not that educational. But so I'm sitting there going, right, well, you know what? I'll just have my own Christmas party. Not a problem. And as a part of Christmas parties in New Zealand and Australia, I'm not sure what they do over in the States. We do a thing called Secret Santa, right? Where you buy like under $10 or $20 or whatever. You buy a Christmas present. Some of them are really, really cool that you can get, right? Some of them are just freaking mint, and some of them are just so shit. It's like, no. So what I decided to do was I'll buy myself a really good one, and then I'll buy myself a really bad one. And so I was like, okay, cool. What am I going to get? So I wrapped up Manea's little crappy hairbrush, like he's 3 years old, right? So I wrapped up his crappy hairbrush, and I was like, yeah, that'll be the shitty one. I was like, what a crappy present. And then I was like, what's the good one? And I was like, ha! I know what. And so I'm sitting in a cafe about 3 days ago, and I'm like opening my Christmas presents going, oh, what a crappy Christmas present. And then I opened the next one, and I was like, ha ha! And I bought myself a machete.
You're so sad.
I can go and chop down my Christmas tree and decorate it. So I feel real happy.
Oh, you're so sad. Yeah. Oh, well, look, I've got your Christmas present for you. I brought them along just to remind everybody who I got. So if you don't know, Lisa's got something about talking about phalluses. Every time we pick a subject, she has to talk about a peenie weenie. So this is what I got. He is a fertility god. That is his big peenie.
Oh my!
You see, I'm trying to get him up really close. I'm trying to get myself out.
God, so you're such a loser. She brought me back a pharaoh with a giant willy.
I do get Akhenaten as well. There we go. Look at him. Oh,
he's really cool.
So I brought her back a pharaoh with a weenie. So there we go.
Good Lord. I mean, seriously, no wonder we're going to get bloody banned from Instagram. You pull out things like entertainment purposes only, educational purposes only.
What are you going to do with them? He's like a finger puppet. Look.
Do not put his finger. Do not put your finger anywhere near him.
I have been wondering. There is an actual photo of my son who's very immature, I might add. Every time he found a pharaoh with a big penis sticking out, he's just like, hey. So I just take photos.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry to anyone that's just joined us.
Slightly offended.
Yeah, like we're getting to the end of the year and we're slowly losing our professionalism, it turns out. Okay, anyway, so a couple of comments over here. Oh God, okay. Iron Beer says, I know loggers in Canada, they swear they've seen mammoths. Yeah, man. And he says they can hear them trumpet in the evenings. They call it the white rhino, but it's basically the same. And then he laughs, and then he says, straight to the gutter, not even a minute in.
That's us. Welcome to Cryptid Women's Society.
We're a special group. Special group.
We're very special. Oh.
Okay. Anyway. So yeah, that was my Christmas adventure, and it sounds like you had a Christmas adventure as well, which is lovely. And I can't wait to get my present along with my machete. Okay. So, fun times in my house. I live in the country, right? And machete's it's fun, and I like blades. So
it's an essential item.
Good for the price of one. Who knows, man? Maybe next year we're together at the same time for Christmas. Wouldn't that just be outstanding?
That'd be kind of cool. And Egypt would be even better.
Ooh. Who wants to come to Egypt with us? I'd take a couple of boys to Egypt with me as well, you know?
Yeah. We've got all the contacts now. So, cool. We've got some private tours. We've got all sorts coming up. So, something that we're working on. So, it should be pretty amazing. Like I said to Lisa, I said a lot of this stuff, like the Egyptian lights and all that kind of stuff, are no longer open to the public. But we managed to get access, and money talks basically. So if you got money, you bribe them.
Well, actually, it's got friends now, you know, and you make contacts with amazing people that actually, you know that you have good intent going into places, and they wanna share, you know. And I think with places like Egypt, and there's many places around the world that are just so oppressed as far as their history goes and what they're allowed to think and what they're not allowed to think. There's definitely people out there that have got those stories that want to share them, right?
Yeah. I've got a contact. We're hoping to either do a live or do an interview with him, and he has basically seen ghost pharaohs floating around.
Wow.
So on several occasions, which like gave me goosebumps when he told me, like, because I never even really told him who I was or anything, but he knew I was interested in like the helicopter hieroglyphs and the energy room and all that kind of stuff that we talked about the other day. And he basically came out and goes, "Oh, I see ghost pharaohs here." I'm just like, oh, I want to talk to you so much about it. So I have all his contacts, and he's just a super, super lovely guy, and has a lot of access to areas that the public don't anymore. So it'll be
wow. Isn't that conversation going to be enlightening?
Yeah.
So I was talking to our social media lady, Ash, who lives over in Cairo, about Christmas time, and she was like, "Oh, you know, we have Christmas holiday off, and then we have New Year's off, and then we have the 7th of January." And I was like, "What do you mean you have the 7th of January? That's a random date." And she was like, "You know, the 7th of January, and we all have it off." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she said, "It's the Christian holiday." I was like, "I don't know any Christians that have a 7th of January off, but I feel like I should start taking it." And she was like, no. So we finally got to that point that it was the Christian Orthodox Christmas day. So I was like, oh, far out. So it turns out that they have a lot of Christmas holidays over there. So maybe Egypt is the Christmas holiday that we're going to go and have.
Oh, apparently, like they kept asking us, are we going to stay for Christmas, come back for Christmas? Because they were like, Christmas here is just amazing. And apparently a lot of Europeans will go there for Christmas because so it'd be really it'd be such a cool thing having Christmas in Egypt. You know, how cool would that be?
Yeah. So great question over on Instagram. Do you guys ever have trouble being a group of women about to going to the Middle East?
No.
What are your thoughts?
No, look, honestly, I had so many people that were worried about us going. Like I traveled with my son. He's ex-military, you know, he's 34, so it wasn't like I was going with a young kid. We had no issues, absolutely no issues. We were welcomed in like by everyone. You're walking down the streets and they'll be like, "Welcome to Egypt." You know, they were just so happy to see us there. And then, you know, then they'd ask you, "Do you like Egypt or do you like Cairo?" And we're like, "Yes, we love it." Oh my God, they're so happy. And they're like, "Will you ever come back?" I went, "Oh yeah, damn right I'm coming back. You know, I want to come back every year now." No issues. One thing I will say is I never wore shorts and I never wore singlets over there. That was my thing, that I did not want to offend them. And I never ever saw any tourists really that were not with tour groups that were in short shorts and singlets. The only time I saw that when there were big tour groups coming out, and they basically go from the hotel to the bus to the temple, back on the bus, back to food, and back to the They're not out walking around the streets. Where Ricky and I were backpacking, we're staying in Airbnbs. So, you know, and there's no way. I mean, we got enough attention as it was. Like I got mobbed. My son's got pictures of it about 7 times. So he's got a video of it where girls wanted to come up, people wanted to come up and have photos with me. And with him, but more with me. At one point, I took about 50 photos, and then I had like babies given to me, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like photo, and there's like, you know, and there's men and women there just like shoving their kids to have photos and photos and photos. So
can I just tell you as well that, okay, so there's more to this story, right? this isn't just, oh, she went to Egypt and maybe they thought she was a nice looking woman or she was famous. She fucking gets it everywhere. Okay. There has been moments of being in airports where they're like, oh my God, that's her.
Yeah,
People running up. There's been moments where we've been walking down the street and all these Japanese tourists going, oh my God, can we have a photo? And I'm standing there going, go ahead. Like,
I remember waiting
more than what you think.
I remember waiting for you and Siepa when we were going to the movies that day, and this was in the middle of Lord of the Rings, and I'm standing at the movies, and I was just like standing there, and next minute, like about 50 people just turned around and started staring at me. And I'm like on the phone to you guys going, would you just can hurry up?
I
don't know what's happening here. And this guy skateboards past me, like in the theater, and then he comes back, and then he just kind of like stands beside me. I'm just feeling like, oh my God, just get me out of here.
And so what we did is we took our time, like we stood over there. I remember Sarah and I standing there watching you, just going, oh, it was great though, because that was at the time in Wellington where they had just like finished filming Lord of the Rings, and it was like premiere time and stuff. So obviously they thought you were someone famous, which was funny. It was great.
I don't know who I look like. Like some people say Julianne Moore, but I have no idea. But it's funny, yeah. It's like, honestly, I couldn't deal with that every day. I would die. Like I just
never go out.
Would do it. Like, yeah.
Iron Bear 89 over on Instagram says there's definitely some spots that are worse than others, right? Just like everywhere, 100%. Yeah. And he also said redhead people are super rare in those parts of the world, so you'd be like a unicorn.
Yeah, they were literally like, I had about 20 people around me taking photos, and they're going, oh my God. I'm just like, oh. No, but they were all really lovely, and they were just, you know, and they were just like, what are your names? So you're constantly asking them what their names are, where they're from, and you know, it's just the same thing. Do you love Egypt? Right? Do you love Cairo? Yeah, you know, so they're always so happy. But just beautiful people. But
great,
you know,
experience.
like even going through Doha and places like that, it's I found the women very shy, even towards me. They were very, very shy. You see a lot more men on the street, you know, so they're the ones, all the hawkers, and they're trying to sell stuff and stuff. You never see women doing any of that stuff. So that is something I did take note of, that there was like no woman running the shops, or if there was, it was like a husband, wife, or a father, daughter type thing. So,
yes.
But yeah, the women are always very shy, but I would have women go past me and kind of be like little waves and little smiles, and you know, and that kind of stuff. And I don't think it was, you know, it's not because they were oppressed, it's just that they were shy. They are very, very shy, I found. You know, even ladies with full burqas on, they'd come past and they'd give me a little wave and say hello to me and stuff like, you know. So yeah, it's just kind of the way that they are.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would 100% recommend, if you were a female traveler and you wanted to go there by yourself, I can guarantee you would be 100% safe. You really would. The hawkers would piss you off, and you'd have to be really tough to deal with them. But that's, you know, they did that even with Ricky there. Like if they couldn't get Ricky to do, they'd come at me, and I was a little bit meaner than him, and I'm just like, you know, basically get out of my face. So they tend to kind of leave me alone first, then Ricky, because like otherwise I would just drop my head and I'd walk away and leave him to deal with it. I'm like, too tired for this shit. See ya, you deal with it.
Yeah, can only be nice for so long, eh?
Yeah. And you do. Yeah, that was definitely, I'd say, the one thing that would be like the worst thing of the whole trip would be them, because they just
you get that a lot in third world countries though, right? You know, same with Southeast Asia, you go through Thailand or Vietnam or anything like that, you just get swamped by them because obviously you've got money and they don't, and they need it. So
and that's it, you know, that you and I discussed this before. Tourism is Egypt.
Yeah,
there's no getting around it. That is their one of their number one money coming into that country is tourism. There is no backup for people, you know, there's no government funding, there's no help for them. So the only way they make money is by tourists. And I think you know, at the moment, because there's not many tourists going over because they're worried about the war in the Middle East, you know, and you know, all this stuff going on. So it's dead over there where it's normally a lot way busier.
Yes.
So I think it's possibly could have, you know, with the aggression of, you know, you must come with us, more money, you know, that kind of thing. I think that kind of pushed that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, you got the other ones that are going, here, I'll give it to you cheaper because I just want money type thing.
Yes.
So, yeah. So
creates that urgency and that demand and that environment, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so you did really feel for them.
Yeah. Especially like, you know, what we see is such a beautiful place, and then there's always that underbelly of what the reality is of the people that are living there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put into perspective, eh? But I mean, it's the same with living in New Zealand, living in Australia, living in the Pacific Islands. You know, there's so much poverty. There's no reason for anyone to go hungry. We live in a plentiful space. All you have to do is put a seed in the ground. It will grow and it will feed you. And it's a sad environment when your next door neighbors don't have enough food.
Yeah,
like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Christmas.
All right, who are you starting with, Lisa?
So we talked about dark Christmas cryptids, and basically we were like, well, where do you go when you're talking dark Christmas cryptids? You go way up north, close to the ice fields, right? Because you've got to go up to like Iceland, up around those sort of Slavic areas to really kind of get the good juicy stuff, because we don't have anything down. So we went way up there, and in good Krampus styles, with all of the awesome parades going on, and that is something we are going to go to one day. We are going to go to that parade. That's going to be amazing. Somewhere I know there's
and then we'll go to Egypt.
And then we'll go to Egypt. We'll go and get nice and cold and then nice and warm. Give ourselves a solid little balance, right? And I know there's numerous parades that go on all across the Northern Hemisphere, which is so exciting. It's so cool. Unless you're a really religious person, in which case it's just devil land, and you don't want to go there. So we're not like that. We'll go up there and we'll go put some horns on and have a fun time.
Go have a fun time.
So, Jules, did you do Krampus?
No. Well, I think
Krampus.
Well,
Jeepers, well, let me throw up
sounds like he's a bit of a crumpet, doesn't he?
Let me find you a wee picture of good old Krampus.
Mr. Krampus. I knew you were going to do Mr. Krampus, so I left him to you.
Oh, shit. Well, I didn't do him.
Well, he's the most popular one. Come on, everybody knows who he is. He's a bit of a... What does he do? He eats children. They all eat children.
Everyone eats children. That's one of the things that we have noticed. There is a solid little thread through there of these creatures literally eating children, right? That's the thing he does. Hang on. I'm just trying to find his image. So just 1 second. Keep going. Tell us about creatures that that eat children.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is kind of one thing that we kind of realized. Like, we looked into a lot of cryptid or mythological creatures around Christmas time, and there were two kind of things that kind of stood out. Number one is that they always attack children, and they always like to slice them open and pull out their intestines and all this kind of stuff. You know, and you do understand that, you know, these stories are told with a meaning behind them of, hey, you know, this is folklore. This is, please don't let your children out at night, or don't let the children out. This is to stop them from going out and getting into trouble, and, you know, and all this kind of stuff. But what we found really interesting is that this kind of the whole slicing children open and kidnapping children, abducting children, whatever, with them all being slaughtered, we're basically like throughout the whole kind of areas and kind of some southern areas, there's this whole thing about children are just being taken and slaughtered. So we were like, is there a connection between all of them? Because some of these are like hundreds and hundreds or 1,000 years apart. So, and they all kind of around these creatures like the Krampus, like the Straggle. There's so many more. The horse one, I can't remember its name, but
the Perchta,
yeah, it's all about children being slaughtered. And we know stories come out, you know, even today where they're talking about children being kidnapped and used in occult things and stuff. And, you know, the same thing happens to them. These children are cut open, you know, it's pretty horrible, you know, if this shit is going on. So it's like, we were like, is there a connection? Why is this whole thing? It's got to come from a point of truth. You know, that's mythology, that's folklore, and that's, you know, that's something that we discuss all the time. That it always comes back from a point of truth. What has kind of happened?
There's always origins, right? There's always origins. And, so our conversation kind of spurred on to, Nazi Party came up to Iceland and all around that sort of area looking for their occult practices. They went into the forest looking for witching in the forest to get their occult practices. They went in and talked to people in regards to all of these sort of stories and the occult magic to learn these things. So if they were willing to send people through the middle of the war when they really needed people on the front line and that sort of stuff, but they are willing to send groups of people in U-boats to get around all of the other countries that were trying to, you know, take them out, all the way up to the likes of Iceland, and, you know, Scandinavian, up around those sort of areas, then there was a damn good reason for them to do it, right? There was obviously some sort of belief, and there's stories about trying to find Thor's hammer and all sorts of stuff up there as well. But there was also stories of them making it to the North Pole, right? And I think that's factual. They did make it to the North Pole. There was reasons why they wanted to go up there. And in my mind, that goes a little bit conspiracy theory pretty quickly. I go, well, maybe there was alien races up in the North Pole, which we know are in the South Pole and Antarctica and that sort of stuff as well. And that's the same reason the Nazis went down to Antarctica, and now the reason why the Antarctic Treaty is in place, so that nobody can go there. And potentially these creatures are some form of a hybrid alien genetic mutation creation, which is what we talked about with the Egyptians. Also, we talked about that with Atlantis. We talked about that with ancient civilizations that created these mutated, genetically engineered creatures and then set them free. So what's to say that these, you know, Krampus and these other story-based entities are not of some form of alien kind of
look at this picture and then think about the picture. We'll have to put another picture up there of the chupacabra that we talked about.
100%.
He's very similar looking.
Yes. Well, and then you have Goatman. You've got Goatman in New Zealand, Hoofman up in the top of the northern hemisphere. You've got Goatman over in America. All of these stories of him looking like a goat entity with some sort of supernatural connection. So, real interesting. And I think kind of pulling on that little thread will probably take us back to some sort of a weird conspiracy connection, which I love.
Yeah. Okay, so the real thing, so behind Krampus, what does Krampus do to children? Because I always love that. St. Nicholas left them presents, and Krampus beat them with sticks and branches, and occasionally took them and ate them in hell. I'm like, wow.
Yes, and took them down to hell and left coal, right? He's the guy that left coal as well, and that's where the whole St. Nicholas leaving coal came from as well. Damn it, I can't get these pictures up. Why not? What is going on here? Annoying me. Sorry, team. So really interesting, and I kind of think, you know, like you say, there's always origins of stories. They always come from somewhere. And was he just a serial killer? Were there just serial killers on the loose? And they went, well, let's make him look way worse than what he is. He's just a human. No, now he's got horns and he's the devil and he's all of this sort of religious undertones and that sort of stuff to try and make him look more of Satan, Lucifer sort of space within that religious realm.
The Krampus is from Germany, right? So here, I'll try and load up my little dude. So this guy is called, hang on, let me just find.
So what are you going into now?
So this is the Straggle. So he is from Switzerland. So I don't know if that picture is kind of popping up slowly.
Ooh, the Straggle. He's cool. Okay.
So I could be saying, or I could be Straggle. It could be so Straggele. So yeah, so he is in Switzerland. He's part of the Purcherides of a throng of demonic-looking helpers known as the Straggle. So these guys love to partake in feasts of offering that people have left out for them at Christmas. So, you know, giving them blessings of wealth and health and stuff coming into the new year. But they do also get to dole out the punishments. And so they basically will rob all bad children of all their presents and all their toys, and then they tear them to pieces and basically they go into the ear. So
nice, isn't it?
They're just tearing children. Yeah, this was the other one, wasn't it? We either got the creatures that sliced open children and cut out and took out their intestines, which was like a reoccurring theme. And then the other ones was like they basically tear children apart. So he's a tear children apart guy.
He actually looks quite fluffy. Like I wouldn't mind giving him a cuddle, a little snuggle.
Yeah. He's a little bit like a
He's kind of like a plushie.
An angry plushie. He's like Bigfoot with horns, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he just looks like, I want to nuzzle. Let's get in there. He's fluffy. I like him quite a lot. I don't want to be ripped apart. I mean, that sucks. And I also don't want all my toys taken. What a dick. But you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind a little cuddle with him. He's kind of, I mean, his horns might get in the wrong places. But
might get in the wrong place. Right. So, and here's the other one. So Lisa was talking just before about serial killers. And I think this is where this guy has come from. This is Hans Trap. So he is
God.
So this is, he's a cannibalistic scarecrow who roams the fields searching for children. Again, children. So
going on.
His story is that so he's very evil. He made deals with the devil to make money. And then apparently the church that he was involved with found out, so they excommunicated him. So basically he was banished. And so he started wandering the fields of Alsace, it says, as a scarecrow. So, and this is where this is the story where he basically abducts a child, slices it, and eats it. So, before again, you know,
slicing.
Again with the slicing and eating. So then apparently he was struck by lightning by God, who thought this was the final straw. Excuse me. But this was like parents would warn their children not to go into the fields and stuff, otherwise this monster would come and basically take them and they'd never be seen again. So, you know, my feeling is that this guy was possibly a child murderer, possibly a serial killer. He got excommunicated. He could possibly have been a little bit cray-cray, became like a hermit type, person. Basically, you know what kids are like. The guy made fun of him, and he could have snapped and basically took him. Or he was very hungry. We don't know. But this is kind of one of those stories where I reckon it could quite possibly have come from, a serial killing kind of, or just a murdering man.
So was he part of the church? Did you say he was part of
He
the church or
was.
something?
He was very, very much a big part of the church. But then apparently he made deals with the devil to make money. So he was all about the dollar, and they found out, and so he got excommunicated. So, so it could be, back in those times. I mean, this is like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So, if he got excommunicated, he was probably pretty pissed off. And
yeah, and look, if he's doing deals with people for money from the church, it's highly likely that the commodity that he's using within that church are children anyway.
Yeah, the occult and stuff, and that's it. How many children were lost in those times? Like, how many children disappeared? How many, there was no way to kind of find these kids and stuff like that. And
100%.
It's a big part of why children were preyed upon. Because they probably thought, oh, they've just wandered off into the bush. They've been taken by a bear or wolves or all that kind of stuff. So there's no kind of record of how to track these children. So,
well, if you go back into medieval times, and we were talking about this earlier, you go back into the Dark Ages, you go into medieval times, and then into things like the witch trials and the werewolf trials that hit pretty hard around France and the northern kind of Europe as well through that kind of 1700s. There was hundreds, if not thousands, of people that were killed on the basis that they were witches and werewolves. And all of that comes down to things like occult practices and that kind of, that those pagan rituals, but also then the further into that magic with a K. It's well documented throughout Europe that these occult practices and these groups.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the witches as such, that like the herbalists and the healers and stuff, got basically put in with what those practices were. And they basically got the blame for it.
Absolutely,
it was horrific. It always kind of cracks me up because they'll be like, oh, only like 200 witches died here, only 40 died here. But when you actually look and you dig into that history, hundreds and hundreds of women were crucified, were burnt alive, it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Yeah,
I know there's a few people that are podcasting that have done some amazing research into the Salem witch trials, into the werewolf trials and that sort of stuff. So if you're interested, you should definitely go down that rabbit hole, because there's some really great people that have done really, really deep research. And
it's far deeper. Like, honestly, you read this stuff and your stomach just turns, because it was just horrible what happened to these people.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like if you're talking about this guy here who looks like, as Iron Bear 89 says, looks like the meth head who would hang out at the gas station at night.
I've got a couple that come into the shop that are like this. Just not the beard.
Then you're talking, satanic ritual abuse, and you're talking occult practices and commodities with children, and that, human trafficking and that sort of stuff, which obviously has been going on for, slavery and everything else been going on for hundreds, thousands of years into ancient times as well. So mental. Oh, great picture.
Yeah. So I'll let you go on to your little creatures, and then I'm going to give you some facts about Christmas.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh, yes. All right. Well, so I'm going to try and put up a picture, but I'm not quite sure why my side's not working so great. So bear with me. We might have to get Jules to go and do us a wee searchy smirchy. Just give me a secondo. No, Jules, can you go find me a picture of the Yule cat, please? Because I can't get up there. Thanks so much. So one of my guys I chose, and like for anyone that's just kind of joining us or hasn't been with us before, Juliet and I do research, but we don't really know what we're researching. We don't tell each other before we come together. So I'm kind of like, we'll see what happens. The Christmas cryptid that I chose today is the Yule cat, or the Yola Crouton, which is a Icelandic folklore story. And basically, this dude is a giant cat who stalks children.
Children are not faring well in these Christmas tales, I'm afraid.
It's amazing, right? It gets me going, man. It gets me going. I'm like, cats, yes. We know cats are shitheads to begin with, so why not turn it into a giant cat that eats children, right? Okay, cool. So let me introduce you to the Yule cat, or the Yola Crouton. I'm not sure that that's how you say it, but we'll go with it. So the Yule cat makes its rounds across Iceland each year on Christmas Eve, stalking through snowy winter streets, towering above houses and peering into frosty windows. And I have to give a solid shout out to pagangrimoire.com. Whoever wrote this was bang on, man. I love this website. Jump on there. She says it searches out those without new socks or scarves amongst their Christmas gifts, and then as punishment devours them whole.
That was something that the other thing. Okay, this is the third thing that we realized that was like a kind of continuous thing with like all these creatures and cryptic creatures. If you didn't get new clothes, you got slaughtered.
You did. Yeah.
There are like 4 or 5 different ones. Like, oh, if you're out walking and you don't have new clothes on after Christmas, you're a goner.
Yeah, you are going to be eaten 100% because you haven't got new clothes. But if you understand kind of like when these stories kind of originated from, you're talking back in the dark age and medieval times and that sort of stuff, where in Iceland, for example, the wool industry was the largest industry through Iceland, and so they needed to push workers in the bloody freezing cold sitting in those factories to work and get the job done in those freezing temperatures. I mean, Iceland goes negatives 60s or something crazy like that. So it says this freaky piece of folklore once served as a warning to those who would shirk their duties and leave more work for others over the holiday period. And so a lot of it comes down to kind of encouraging workers to work harder and get their jobs done and that sort of stuff.
But why use a giant cat? I don't get that. Why,
I know. And the best part about this is there weren't any giant cats in Iceland.
Yeah. And why, if the people are shirking their jobs, why eat the children, not the animals?
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I think it would also go after adults. It wasn't, too, it didn't have favoritism going on. But definitely it was the fear, because remember, the people that worked in the wool sheds were women, right? They spun.
Yeah.
So they spun the wool so that they could make clothes and stuff. So it was leading on to their fear that their children would be eaten or taken by a serial killer scarecrow bastard. So what did this Yule cat look like, given that there were no giant cats, no large predatory cats in Iceland? So
what
does this even come from?
Was it a giant panther? Was it, they just kind of...
Yeah, it was a giant something, but there were no panthers in Iceland. So I don't know where it originated. It could very well have been Germanic, and it's just kind of slowly moved through. And a lot of these sort of stories, like Krampus, like the other one that I'm going to talk about, they have their different origins and they've changed and adjusted throughout the years, over the Northern Europe space. But what did he look like, right? And I like him. I want to play with him. I want him to have a ball.
What do they say? If you die, if there's a dog and there's a cat in the house, who's going to eat you first? And they're like, oh, the cat will start eating you first. It'll start eating your face.
100% the cat. Yeah.
So from that, where people have died and the cats are eating.
That's its origin.
Woo!
We nailed it.
Oh my God. Okay, what's your other one? Can you get your other photo up or tell me what it is and I'll find it.
So. Hang on, wait. I've just got another connection to make with this Yule cat, right?
Oh, okay.
So the Yule cat was actually the pet of a wonderful lady called, hold please, of a wonderful lady called Gryla, right? Gryla, Gryla. And she was a terrible ogress who would go and like eat kids and slaughter them and chop them up. And she was the worst of the worst, 100%.
Oh, so she fed them to the cats probably.
Yeah, 100%. So she had this Yule cat, which was her pet, but she also had the 13 lads, which are called the 13 lads, which are her troll sons, which were really naughty and would do naughty things, but would also give presents and bits and pieces.
But they were the Yule lads. So there were 13 of them, wasn't there? And so
the Yule lads.
days leading up to Christmas, each one would come out on each day and play a trick or do something cool.
So funny, man. Like, seriously, I was like, you guys are crazy.
So it's her fault. She gave the cat a bad name because she fed the kids to the cats.
Honestly, there's probably some sort of meaning behind that. Okay, and my next lady, who I found was so interesting, and she goes way, way, way further back than most stories. Her name is Perchton. So Perchten. Have you got her? Go and find her and find me a picture of her, Juliet. Perchton. Wow. And I'll read you a little bit about her because she's freaking.
Where's she from? Austria?
Perchton. She's the white lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the white lady. So so I got a really amazing website called professionalmothering.com, the history of Perchta, and she's really, really cool. Sorry, have you got Perchta? Did you find her? Perchta.
Oh, TA. Well, no, I've got her, but
it just depends on what country you're reading from, essentially. So her origins go way back to Germanic roots in the early Middle Ages, so roughly 500 to 900 AD. So we are talking way, way, way back. Yeah. It says she is dual nature domestic goddess depicted as either a beautiful woman or a haggard witch with an oversized foot, linking her to shape-shifting into a goose or a swan. And she also has origins as the Mother Goose story, which I thought was really, really cool because we know the Brothers Grimm took a whole heap of stories from these sort of places. Yes, there she is. So she's depicted as two places, like a beautiful white blonde hair, white skin, beautiful woman, domestic goddess, super clean, all this sort of stuff. Or she's a haggard old witch. And just really quickly, let's interrupt. Iron Bear says, ladies, I gotta run. What's my skating to meet y'all and learn about your work, bro? We love having you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the questions too. That was
the best. Thanks heaps. Anyway, let's talk about Percha. So those who are familiar with the demonic Perchton, which is actually a plural, which means that she can move, or essentially says she's a shapeshifter, right? So that's the plural word for her. You may recall stories of how they come down from the Alps to terrorize villages during the Yuletide season. Often they recall horrifying stories of how she punishes bad children by slitting open their stomachs and replacing their digestive tract with straw, rocks, and sometimes trash, stitching them back up so that they can live in eternal agony.
What?
Okay, but
I'm going to try. I'm finding a nice picture of her right now.
Finding a nice picture now, yeah, because she's not always being depicted as the bad side, right? She's actually somewhat of a goddess. Yeah, which I was like, oh, she's twice. And we see this quite a lot, right? Yes, thank you. Depicted with swans as a beautiful domestic goddess. We see this a lot. And Juliet, you'll be able to attest to this. All you have to talk about is Lilith, right? Yeah. Who was demonized by the church. There's lots of different stories on Lilith of being this amazing, beautiful goddess who's here to do good and fertility and everything else. And then there's this darker side, which is portrayed as a demonic entity.
And that is basically because she defied the church. She defied man. And that is the sole reason she has become this demonic creature. There was this demonic person. There was no other reason for it. She defied them, and the same as like Sekhmet. So in Egyptian law, Sekhmet is the Egyptian, the lioness. So she is like the most feared Egyptian goddess. Same thing. She is the bringer of death. She is the bringer of doom. She is, she basically F you up big time. but then she is also known as the protector and all these other really, really good things. So it depends on kind of what side you stood on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we see this quite a lot with women being depicted as all of a sudden they're really, really bad. And the same goes for Percha. And I just kind of go that sucks, because in fact she could very well have been this goddess, this amazing, beautiful thing, and then something's happened and she's been seen as this demonic, terrible thing. So I've got a little bit of information on her really quickly. So it says Perchta has been associated with the wild hunt, and that ghostly possession had many different angles of interpretation. So essentially what they do with Krampus and the procession that he leads, right? So this is called the wild hunt. And so it says, is Perchta leading a band of demons through the night? Or is she leading the ghosts of the dead home? Or perhaps she's leading a band of good spirits or civilians who were simply in disguise to scare away evil spirits, which is a common interpretation. She said, it should be noticed that Perchta, with an A, was the individual who led the spirits. Perch-10, T-E-N, were her followers. Right? So when they say Perchton, it was actually talking about her followers, which could have been demonic entities. It could have been ghosts. It doesn't mean that she was bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't, so it says it's not necessarily characteristics of who she was, which I thought was really, really important. She said one of Perch's most unusual traits is that one of her feet is shaped like a goose or a swan foot. And so that shows that she has otherworldly powers, or basically can be interpreted that she's not human, or that she's a shapeshifter. And symbolize that she can turn into a goose or a swan. And then she links it in with things like Frigg, Odin's wife, who was a goddess of spinning. And basically, they were both deities that could lead the wild hunt. Frigg led the Valkyries, the Viking stuff, who would comb the battlefields and take the dead to Valhalla. They had swan wings and were in danger of being trapped in the mortal realm if they were trapped without, and they would be trapped without their plumage, and they would be trapped in human form. Yeah. Swans and geese were both associated with beauty, kindness, loyalty. Both Perch's white dress and the white feathers of the birds represent purity. And also often Percha is depicted with a beak, with a swan's beak or a goose.
So it's like Artemis, isn't it? So she's the Greek goddess of the hunt and wildness and wild animals, and so they have this softness about them, but they're also, they were there. They can give life, they can take life. So
100%. So I just found her so interesting, because I was like, yes, we could go into this dark side. It's always dark, and they want to disembody children and pull out their intestines and slice them in half. But there's also this other side of these goddesses that are in this mythology that, in fact, are beautiful and shape-shifting into these amazing creatures and have so much more about them.
Yeah, and the other side you've got to look at is, you wonder that stuff is done in the name of these gods and goddesses, like infanticide. There are records of children being slaughtered by their own family, being basically sliced up and stuff like that, in the name of these people, or of goddesses or deities or gods or whatever they are. And then so that gets associated with them, just because this crazy person, it still happens today, doesn't it? I've done it for this person. It's like, so
in the name of
I've done this, so that makes it okay. So you kind of go, what is going on with some of these creatures? You can definitely tell there's human stuff and then there's creature stuff. There's this there's a real line kind of between kind of what they are, and you can kind of go, I put you in the serial killer kind of mode, and you're in the alien hybrid mode, and you're
it's so interesting. And it's really I find it very, very challenging and really, really tough to even kind of delve, like just scratch the surface, because I don't know enough. And I'm like, I just need to go and step back there so that I can see what it was like. Like, just take me back to the 1400s, or 900 AD, so that I can just see what was going on and get a really good grip on stuff. I need a time machine.
Only what people, or again, it's with Egypt, like going through stuff and hearing from the actual locals of what they say. One thing I found very, very interesting, which I didn't speak about, but I want to do like a little piece on it. I'm going to do a reel and stuff on it, was Roman scaffolding and ancient scaffolding.
Like buildings?
There is like old ancient scaffolding against these temples still, and some of these places, because some of them were never finished.
Sure.
So you see this ancient scaffolding, you'd be like, well, that's how they made it. And you're like, oh, okay, clack, clack, clack. Because we're never told about that. I haven't learned about ancient scaffolding. It's just like, oh, this is going to go this way, but it was ancient, and it'll blow your minds. But
wow, that's cool. Well, we know that the Chinese people are phenomenal when it comes to scaffolds and putting up bamboo scaffolding and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of the metallic scaffold, the steel scaffolding that we have in the Western world is just built on the structure that of what they do, and they just tie it together, and it's amazing. So it would make sense that sort of stuff has been going on for years, but when you see it with your own eyes, it's pretty. It
was pretty because I'm just like, it was pointed because like I saw them, I just thought they were part of the ancient structure, but you could tell it was completely different because like Rome came in and basically built over some temples. There were so many hieroglyphs and gods and goddesses which had been chiseled away. There was different signs of gun, of bullet holes and stuff, where somebody's gone across with bullet holes and tried to shoot them out, and all this kind of stuff. So you go into temples and whole areas where basically all their faces were chiseled off. So there'll be more kind of pictures coming out about that. But really interesting.
That's so cool. That's so interesting. It just really takes us down those pathways of just so much learning. I mean, like we've been doing Cryptid Women's Society for 2 and a bit years now, and we've learned so much. Oh my god, my brain is just
every day. There's you'll never get to the end of it. So are you finished with your creatures?
Yeah, man, I am. Hit us with your Christmas facts.
All right, Christmas fact. Bloody America. Here I am. America and Christmas. This is for our American friends.
America banned Christmas.
America banned Christmas. Okay, so.
Oh my goodness.
I found a couple of funny facts, which I thought was really good. So this was in 1659 in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. So they literally banned Christmas, and there was a penalty for having any decorations up or any festivals or anything. So you would get charged 5 shillings. So that's about $48 a day, which is quite a lot of money. So if you were found not working on Christmas Day, or you were having a special feast, it was basically banned. So the reasoning is that the festivals were seen as being superstitious, and they had come from other countries, and they were a great dishonor to God and an offense to others who did not celebrate Christmas. So, yeah.
Haven't we done a 360? Because basically we're not allowed to say Merry Christmas now. It has to be Happy Holidays. Because it's an offense to people that don't celebrate Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Wow. Yeah, 1650. Bring it on back, baby.
You're going to be charged 5 shillings if you have your Christmas decorations up. Yeah.
Wait, I want to know who are the people that go around taking the money. Who are those people? Because I'll be the guy that goes around taking the money.
Probably the church.
I'll say that I'm from the church. I could make me some good cash, Christmas cash. Good Christmas cash.
All right.
Wow. All right.
Coming up is our little Christmas spider. Isn't he cute?
A Christmas spider.
A little Christmas spider.
Oh my God, he is cute.
He is cute. I actually have one of these, a green version that my father gave me. and I've had it for many, many years, which I thought was really cute. But so this is about where Christmas tinsel, the idea for Christmas tinsel could have come from. So this is in Europe. So it is based around, so this is what they think where it has come from. So a widowed mother was too poor to pay for Christmas tree decorations. So she brought in like this old tree and, this tree and put it up. But she couldn't afford decorations, so she just kind of had the tree. So on the tree was a spider. And so during the night, the spider basically spun a bunch of webs around the tree. And so when she got up in the morning and the morning light was on it, they were shining silver and gold. So these webs are kind of like flickering and stuff. And she thought it looked really, really beautiful. So there's thought that this inspired the invention of tinsel. And so this is kind of more Ukrainian, German, kind of those areas. So even today, German homes and Ukrainian homes decorate their trees with jeweled spiders, thanks to this tale of where they think.
That is so cool.
So, yeah. Which I thought that was kind of cute. So,
that's really cool. I feel like I should gather up all my spiders and shove them on my pine tree.
Yeah, we should do that in Australia too. Not.
Traditions we will not be following through.
And Australia, bringing spiders inside. It's all right. I've already told Lisa this morning I was putting stuff away in the wash house yesterday and something hissed at me. So I just basically went back down to the room. I put a towel down, I opened the back door, and whatever it is can go out.
No.
I was like, I am too tired to deal with this. And I said to my daughter, maybe it was just a bag like hissing as I put it. I don't know. But it was a big hiss. And I'm like, geez, it could be a hissing cockroach. I'm like, could be.
Yeah, do you know what it's like debunking a cryptid sighting? When you see like a Wendigo or a bloody Bigfoot or something, you're like, well, it wasn't really that. It was probably just a raccoon hissing at me.
Oh my God. So I literally had the torch, I had the broom, and it's like, I'm like, okay, what else hisses at you? I'm going, okay, blue tongue lizard hisses at you, but they're fat little buggers and they can't get to the top of a cupboard. So it's not going to be a blue tongue lizard because they can hiss at you. They blow themselves up and they hiss at you if you piss them off.
Snaky.
Yeah. So I'm like, I just like in my head, I'm like, what exactly did I hear? But it was a big hiss. So I'm
a cat. Was it a cat?
It was not a cat. I would have seen the cat. Yeah. So I'm just kind of.
Are you just?
We have no friendly snakes here. We only have poisonous snakes. So I'm just like.
Are you kind of like? It's a cat. It'll be a cat. It'll be a cat.
It's a hissing cockroach. And then I'm like, we don't actually have hissing cockroaches here. But apparently they have. I'm like, okay. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. So I'm just like going, oh my God. But yeah, but typical, I was like, I can't deal with this right now. So I just put a towel down and went to bed.
Shut the door. So that's when I lived in Australia. When I lived in Australia, we had a giant huntsman spider that was above my bed, right in the corner of the room.
I remember that.
And I basically left, and I just yelled at it, "If you don't leave, I'm gonna come back and kill you." I slept in my flatmate's room for 2 whole weeks. It was like every time I came back, it was still there. I was like, "Please just go."
Yeah. No, we've got a few. It's like the warmer weather's coming out now, so. I did notice a big one outside, a big black one, so I'm going to have to go and remove that. And it's time to spider spray again, so all the redbacks.
Good old Australia, eh?
Yeah.
Good old Australia.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, well, that's our Christmas wrap-up done.
Our cute.
What are we doing next week, Jules?
Yeah. No.
Idea of what's going on?
Dude, I'm really alive. I'm good. I lasted really well, so I'm good. I'm proud of myself.
Do you know what's next week? Next week is Christmas fun. Ooh, what is that?
Oh, that's good because that's going to be leading up because we're going to be releasing a few things this week. So that are a little bit fun. That we need audience participation to answer our questions. So
100%.
put the thinking caps on. Keep your dirty minds out of it. No, actually.
Oh God, no! Put those puppies right.
Put those puppies in, because there's some funny stuff. So
and next week is probably going to be our last live. Are we going to do a live on Tuesday, Christmas Eve?
No, because I'll be working.
Well,
I will be working every single day.
Maybe we can do we'll do a live sometime that week, maybe.
Yeah, I would like to do a live, have a wine, let's just dress up in some Christmas tinsel and just have a bit of a fun and a bit of a laugh. With anybody who'd like to join us, we will put that out. We'll try and do it at that time of day where we can all drink. I mean, if it's 10 a.m. here and we have to drink, then,
Just do it. Oh, that sounds awesome.
But put your glad rags on, as I say, put your Christmas tinsel on, put your horns on.
Absolutely. And we've got some wicked membership deals coming up December and January. It's going to be super exciting, and those will be released in the next few days. So get in there. Christmas presents are plenty. If you're looking for a Christmas gift, join the society.
Yeah, and you will actually become one of our founding members, which is going to be cut off early next year. So we've got our founding members stuff, so that will be cut off. So that means that your price will stay the same, and then you basically get access to exclusive stuff. And and it also kind of helps shape Cryptid Women's Society, because we do ask a lot about what you would like to see, what kind of stuff you'd like us to do. But
yeah, man, have some control over where we head. Help us out.
And next year we will be releasing our Christmas calendar. So we did not have the time to do it this year. So if you like to see men dressed up in furry outfits and women like this is where our
dungeon talk. Dungeon talk. Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to wrap this puppy up. We will see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We will be wearing Christmas decorations, hopefully clothing also, but optional.
Send us your best pics as you're watching. And we love you on these crazy roads. Like, honestly, I don't know what it's like over there, but drivers and just people are just crazy. Keep calm, and then just go home and get a little voodoo doll and take a little bit of the hair or something.
Voodoo doll them when you get home or something. Thank you all for your support through 2024. We will see you all next week. Send us some DMs and some comments. CryptidWomenSociety.com is where you want to go to get your Christmas gifts.
See you, everyone.
Love y'all.